Right on. Thank you. Well, Janet and I have been having a conversation about some of the AromaTouch that she has been doing. What I have been doing for about the past year and a half, almost 2 years, is doing the hand technique, the AromaTouch hand technique at a nursing home. And so it has been, you know, I mean, I've learned a lot in the process, and it took me a long time to get a little bit bolder about what I was doing and how I was talking to the people about it. So the nursing home that I go to, it's called St. Joseph's Villa, and it is, I would assume, one where pretty much everybody in there is, they don't have money to be anywhere else. And so it's, as far as it being a business connection, I haven't found that yet, but it has been a joy to serve the people there, because they truly appreciate it. And so it has been, and in conversations that I have, it's given me more ideas of places that I can go. So I was just going to talk about what I do and who, you know, I mean, it's really, I mean, it's fun. It's so I go every Monday at 1:30, and I do between probably 5 and 8 massages while I'm there. And there's some people that come every week, and there's some people that, I mean, I have someone new almost every week. So I look forward to meeting with the people, you know, I mean, more than anything, it's a connection with the residents there. And it's really opens up my heart. I don't know how else to say it. I love them, and I look forward to seeing them and helping them. And they love the touch. They, you know, yeah, it's a good thing. So, as you know, but so what I do is I go in, and I have a little card table that is set up, and I'm just going to kind of tell you what I do. And so I have a card table set up, and I have a beautiful purple towel that I lay down on the table, that they can put there, and then I scoot their wheelchairs up to that. And I have another purple, I have purple everything. I don't know why, because I love purple, I guess. But so I have one that's a little bit smaller that I'll put underneath their arm or their elbow, depending on, so that they're not leaning on the edge of the table. And then if they have, well, you know, I mean, if they have rings that can come off, or watches, jewelry, I usually have them take that off, because I will rub up their arm and down. And so I use fractionated, or it's not fractionated, I use organic coconut oil. And so I just take this little jar, and I let them, I just tell them, this is what I have. I mean, this is what we're using, and I'll take a dab, and I'll put it in my hand, and warm it up, and then add the oil to that. And there's some that don't like the smell of oils. And then there was one lady that that she liked the deep blue, and so I use that on her every time. And one of the things about being in a nursing home is there are people that aren't there forever. So, and that's one of the hard things, because I have gotten attached to many of them, and several of them have moved on to a better place. But so I have a little bag that has all of my oils, and I used to take the emotional oils because I thought, you know, that would be something that would spark something in them. But probably, I mean, I use balance, frankincense, citrus bliss, AromaTouch, and frankincense, lavender, and serenity. And those are and those are the main oils that I use. So the AromaTouch kit, it has a lot more oils that you can use. And the deep blue, I'm really cautious about using that because, or anything like that, because, you know, I mean, they touch their face, they rub their eyes, and so I don't want anybody to have thinking, oh my God, what did she do to me, and what have I got on me? So I usually will have them smell 3 or 4 oils to see which one they like, and then I will take the coconut oil, and then I'll do a drop or 2 of the oil in my hand, rub it, and then just start giving them the hand technique. And I don't know if you all have seen the videos of the hand technique, and I'm pretty consistent with how I do it. And one of the first things that I say, what I ask them is if they have any pain in their hands, because a lot of them have arthritis, but it's not tender when I massage them. And so when I first started out, I did it really light. And I found that I apply more of a medium pressure for most of them. And I haven't had any problems. So there's some people that say, oh, I have a pain in my finger here. And so it's just a matter of, you know, going carefully around those. And then one thing that I was going to start doing is taking my On Guard hand sanitizer, because there are some people that have, you know, they do blood, you know, they poke their fingers all the time, and sometimes there is blood on their hands. And so I clean that off. Usually what I've just used On Guard oil and then use the coconut oil to clean it up afterwards with a tissue. But, you know, I mean, because I move from person to person to person, and that is how I do it. But oh yeah, and I just started this about 6 months ago, is I have a little diffuser, and I always put citrus bliss in it, and it's on a table across from where I sit, and I'll have people that will park their chair right next to where it's diffusing. So that's kind of fun, and they all love the smell of it. So it's citrus bliss, like I said, it's one of the big ones, and balance. And sometimes I will I'll give them a couple of oils, and older people, you know, their sense of smell is not as sharp as it used to be. And so there are times that I just want to see, can they really smell what I'm putting under their nose? And so I will, so I have ylang ylang in my bag. And so I'll have them smell that, and it's like, whoa, no. So I know that they're smelling what what I'm putting on them, because ylang ylang is pretty strong and nobody wants that one. So, so like I said, I do, I mean, if you haven't seen a video of the technique, or there is, Janet, I know, has gone through the training with Chris, and that's who I went through with, and it was very helpful. And so you get a book that shows, you know, basically the techniques for the complete AromaTouch technique, and then the oils, and then the hand and just a foot technique. So it is pretty helpful. But so like I said, I mean, I try to be consistent with everyone. You know, I mean, realistically, you could do the hand technique in under 10 minutes, but my average is about 20 minutes per person, just because we talk. I mean, I wish I could remember all of the stories that I've heard. You know, I mean, these are people that have a lifetime of history of, you know, I mean, everything. Yeah. It's amazing. I wish I could record what they talked about, but I've started taking pictures of their hands, and I'm getting bolder and asking them if I can take pictures of them, the ones that I'm really familiar with. And so it's, I mean, more for myself than anything. I have posted them on Instagram, and I love their hands. It's amazing. Especially when you're holding the hands and you're massaging them, you just feel like there's so much history there, and so much that they have done and so much that they have given in life. And so it's really tender. So I really enjoy that. Let's see, what else? Okay, so there's some people that do not like the coconut oil, and they do not like a scent. They don't like the oil, and that's fine. So I have just the hand lotion, the doTERRA no fragrance hand lotion. And then I also use, depending on the person, I use the rose. And then I have the citrus bliss, but usually I just do the coconut oil and the citrus bliss. And but like I said, I take about 20 minutes, and it's just sometimes they'll go to sleep, sometimes they will just talk nonstop, and so it's just being there with them. And so that we're in a room. So on Mondays they do manicures for the residents, and so that's the staff bring them up to the room, and then they start a list of who wants a manicure and who wants a hand massage. And so I work around their manicure, and some people come just for the manicure. There are some people that I go to their room. If I haven't seen them for a couple of weeks, I'll go to their room and give them a hand massage. So it's a wide variety of what I do. Let's see, what else? Does anybody have any questions? Is there, as far as the technique itself, or just covered it all?
So, Carol, this is
yes.
So do you think that, I know that the oil is amazing, but just the personalization that you give it, and the touch, and then the oil with it, because I know that some of them are doing just the plain lotion, but just the touch has brought a change to them?
Yes, I would say so. Some of them, yes, definitely. And even if it's just for that moment, there are times when I feel like I wish I could be there every day and give them, give people a hand massage every day consistently. Just because of how it makes them feel. There's one resident that, people pretty much called him cranky and not nice, and he's one of my favorites. He's one that I love to see come in, and I think that the fact that he comes, some of the people there are dependent on somebody else doing everything for them, and so they get in their wheelchair and they can do their own thing. They can move about, but yes. And so when he rolls in, if I'm doing somebody, I'll say, I'll put you on the list and come back, because he won't stay around. He doesn't like to socialize with them, in that room. But yeah, so I think it does make a difference. And I think that, I don't know, because I'm not staff. I don't know what kind of things they can ask him, but I ask him all kinds of questions. At first I wanted to be politically correct and such, but I have but I've learned to just ask them questions, and if they want to laugh, then they laugh. If they want to cry, I cry with them. I mean, and it's all while I'm giving them the massage. So yeah, I think it does make a difference. I think that it's a different kind of connection than what they get on a day-to-day basis. So I really like that.
That's really awesome, because I think that we lose the personal touch a lot in life, and this gives us an opportunity to actually have a personal touch that's non-invasive.
Yes. And that is, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's physical and emotional. And sometimes it's spiritual. It's just, it's a lot. So I feel like I get more out of it than I give. But, and there's some days that I think, oh, I don't want to go. I mean, I get in my own rut. I get in my own whatever in my head. And I pretty much force myself to go sometimes, and I am always so grateful that I do. So it is always worth it. And there you go.
I just want to say something really quick. You have found your niche, my friend. This was listening to you, and just that I just love it. And I wasn't planning on being on here today. I was supposed to go. We're on our way to the store, but in your talking, it reminds me of our conversations that you and I used to have when Mark and I were doing the light riders with the homeless, and I would. It was kind of. I mean, only now it's you talking about that. So you're that person that is loving people and serving people just because.
Yes. And I know, and and I'm still figuring things out. I'm still finding my way. But I do want to do more, I mean, it's, yeah, and I'll find a way. But
yeah, but what you're doing now is like very much so. You obviously love it. It's something that, and I think that it's very indicative of everything that we, talk about and try and help people with education and whatever we're doing. It's like you could do this in your sleep.
yeah,
You could do this without having to think, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? You can do this no matter what, because you're loving doing this.
well, and one thing that I have found with doing this is I don't think about anything else, I mean, I don't stress about business. I don't stress about, I mean, I don't stress about anything other than what they need at the time,
Right.
I mean, and who's in front of me.
Right.
So I love that.
Yeah. And I think that's the way that it should be anyway, no matter what you're doing. I really think that you have really, in a simple way, you have simplified the process. This is why we do what we do, is to be able to just get in there and serve people and love on them without any expectation of return. And that is what you're doing is like a perfect example of what we all, if we would just all do that and not worry about all of that other stuff, we wouldn't struggle as much doing what we love.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Hi, everybody. Hey,
Hi, Mark.
Hi. I was listening to you too. That was awesome. One thing that I would suggest, and it's something that Romy and I have talked about many, many, many times. when we were doing the ministry and meeting people and helping people. And keep a journal about your people, that your hands and all of that. We didn't do that, and we wish so much now that we would have done that, because like you said, you've got a lot of history there, and you got people that are going to be gone probably soon, in the not too distant future, but all of that's going to be lost. We really wish, and we've talked many times, that we wish we would have kept a journal. We have a lot of pictures and stuff, but we didn't keep a journal about people's lives and people's journey through life that we wish we would have done. But that's just a suggestion I'd make. Keep a journal and of all this wonderful stuff that you're hearing and learning, and it'll be invaluable.
Yeah, I probably should, because
That's not me.
sorry, I love that. But yes, I know, because one of the first women that I gave a hand massage to. Oh my God, I loved her, and it's just a joy, and the stories that she had, and she, and the way that she made me feel. I mean, you're right, I should. I mean, because I don't want to forget that, and I'll never, there's some people that, I'll never forget. So it's, they're amazing. There's some people that aren't so nice, but there are some people that are, just so authentic and sweet, and I'll never forget. I think I'll never forget, but I thought I'd never forget when my daughter first walked, and I'd forgotten that. So,
well, and that's what we ran into too. That there's a lot of people that we haven't forgot, but we have forgotten a lot of their stories, and a lot of pieces and parts of their life that were really, really cool that we can't remember. And it's just I wish we had done that, and we could go back and look at it now. I know we'd both be bawling like babies, but it would be awesome to be able to do that.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I know. Thank you. I really should do that. I mean, I keep track of everybody now I track everybody who I massage every week, and I try to remember what oils that I've used, but really what oils I've used is not that important. It's what, we have what we talk about. And, oh my gosh, I've cried with many of them, and it's, just remembering their childhood and their families and their, and it's an era of people that, that history, and that, most of them, it's a hard time growing up and still being so grateful for what they had. So
just do it.
I'll write down a few stories. Okay, so,
hey, I have a question, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay, so my father-in-law is in a nursing home, a memory unit for dementia patients, and it's mostly a Medicare facility, so you understand that. And a lot of people there don't have anybody. And when, I've been doing stuff with him, and that's been very successful, the results have with him. And I actually met with the social worker Rose this past Thursday to see if I could start doing AromaTouch hand sessions like you once a week. And they don't know how to go about getting permission to do that. I mean, for the patients that don't have anybody. I mean, how did you do that?
Well, I went in and I talked to, let's see, I went in and talked to the head of nursing briefly, and she says, oh no, that's not me, that would be recreation. And I says, okay. So I went in and talked to the director that was in charge of recreation. And so that's where I started. And they said, you know, that they had that they do manicures once a week, and that they would ask any of the residents that were there for the manicures if they would like a hand massage. So it started out kind of slow and iffy, and so it was so they have a calendar of all the events that they have for the residents during the month. And I like to say that it used to be that it was manicures on Mondays, and now it's manicures and massages on Mondays. And so it's like, so it's just finding, because they do, I mean, even in facilities like that, they do have, they try to find things to engage the residents. And so it's probably, I mean, the recreation staff is where I started. And so I mean, there were times when they would go in and they would have someone there playing music. And I would sit at the back of the room and give people massages while the music was going on. So, I mean, there's probably a lot of opportunities to go. And the only thing that I filled out a form when I went there, and then I had, I think it was a hepatitis blood work done. But other than that, that was it. So, and I've been there longer than any of the aides have been. They've rotated through. And so that's where I've started getting bolder and, bolder. So as far as what I feel like I would like to do for the residents. And so I just, I tell them now and I ask questions. So I would start with the recreation. Somewhere where they are, if you want to do it on a weekly basis, just find something that they're doing on a weekly basis and, say, I'll be there then. Or, I mean, when I first went in, I was in the memory unit, and so I would go to individual rooms, and it was really awkward for me. I loved going in there, but it's like, I thought knocking on people's doors and saying, hi, can I give you a hand massage? And so eventually the lady in charge of the memory unit took me upstairs to the where they were doing the manicures. So, I think that they're grateful. And they count it as an activity for the resident. I mean, they log it, and so it's good for them, and it's good for I think it's good for the facility to have one additional thing for the residents.
Thank you, because it has been easy for me to take my dog up there, but it's not been so easy for me to get oils up there. So. Oh
yeah. Well, and it's just, it's just saying, this is just, doing the hand massage and the smell, the aroma, because the residents and the staff, they like it. They really do. I mean, it's taken me a long time to, feel totally comfortable with everything that I'm doing. So.
Yeah, I have an aroma ace in my father-in-law's room that runs balance and lavender 24/7. And so that's the only room in the facility that actually smells good. So everybody, I'm the crazy oil lady up there. So yeah.
Yeah.
Dog lady.
Well, there's, and I don't know, maybe I wasn't aware, but in the last 2 months, I've noticed diffusers in a lot of the offices. And so, and doTERRA diffuser. So I think the petal diffuser in one of them. And so I think, okay, have these oils been here all along, or have I brought them and now they are, and now they're feeling freer to use them in other areas, you know, which I don't know. And I tried talking to one of the ladies that had the diffuser in her office, but you know, it didn't go too well. So I didn't get a lot of, I didn't have the right questions to ask, but obviously, but I'll try it again. Is there any other questions? And thank you, Deb. I know I feel like they're a blessing in my life, and yeah, the staff, it is hard. There are a lot of people, and it's heartbreaking sometimes to talk to the people and just feel like I wish I could move you into my house. You know, I wish I could take you and or be there on a regular basis. So it is. So is there any other questions? Or anything else you'd like to talk about? Well, Janet, thank you very much for you know, your comments, and Deb, and Iris, hello. So I think that's it.
All right. Thanks, Carol.
Thank you, Kenzie.
Carol.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.